3, 2, 1, and welcome back to Chasing the Racin, episode 34. And I know what you're thinking straight away. Come on, let's hear it.
Oh, God. Well, this is nearly Christmas. Now, normally, I'm a total Grinch, and I still am a total Grinch, but Chrissy, with the power of social media, we're going to change that on Chasing the Racin. Today, I'm in a jolly good mood. Yeah, bollocks to that. We've had enough of that, Chrissy. Here I am, dressed up like a budget Elton John, with my tinsel all over the place, and my stupid hat. But don't worry, Chrissy, I've got you one too.
Oh, fantastic.
Get that slapped on your head. Victory Barbershop will be very disappointed that you're just covering up that... My God, you look like a right tit. How do I look? Shakshy. So what's the crack then, Chrissy? I'm going to have to take this tinsel off. It's getting on me tits.
So, first of all, we've got our sponsors to introduce. So, back again,
yes.
the very loyal In Contango training, leading risk, finance, and treasury consultancy.
Ding.
And we've also been sent some sponsorship cheddar, some sponsorship money by one of our fans' patrons over in the US. So, one of our fans, and he would like to
born in the USA, yeah.
like to remain anonymous, but he just said for his sponsorship slot, he sent a little message. And it was, now that we're at the end of 2019 season, let us pause for a moment in our minds and remember all of the brave riders we have lost over the past year, as well as their families and friends continuing on without them. And now looking ahead to the 2020 season, the best of luck to all those riders who are carrying on and living out their dreams. Godspeed to the lot of you. Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year to you all. So thanks very much.
Yeah, no, they brilliant. You know, obviously people aren't fame hungry, and then obviously just want to spread their good wishes and good joy. So hey,
yeah,
thank you very much.
Really
appreciate
very much. That. And for today's show, we've already pre-recorded an interview with Alastair Fagan. So he
sounds like a Batman villain, doesn't he? Alastair Fagan.
So,
even though he picks pockets in like Oliver Twist, one or the other.
There's a pairing that do the 44 Teeth YouTube channel. He's a motorsport journalist, and I think he's one of those that's really sort of grabbed the new age of journalism using sort of video and
just don't call him a YouTuber, which you'll obviously hear straight off the bat in the interview.
Does a great job, but yeah, really good interview coming up for you. But before that, we've got a few topics to go through, so I've just got them written down here. So we've got you were at the Northeast AGM the other day, so we'll have a quick chat about that and the finances of the club racing. Really, that's sort of a topic.
No, to be honest, the disgust of like club racing and how much it bloody well costs.
Yeah. And mini bike racing, you were down at not last weekend gone, the weekend before, you were down racing a mini bike at the BR8 BR8 lads.
Pretty much. I love that if you mention that, the fact that they've slowly taken over it. Obviously they run their own podcast, but down with the British Mini Bike Championship. My God,
and then we've got a bit of speculation for 2020, a bit of for the rumour mill.
Oh, everyone loves a bit of rumour mill.
But before we get on to the topics in the interview, how's your week been? Have you got any crack?
Well, no, not really. You know, well, obviously, the weekend gone, just absolutely running around like a headless muppet. Loved every second of it. Just like seeing old sponsors, seeing new sponsors as well, which is going to be really exciting. Nearly coming up, obviously, like John M. Patterson, based up in there, just past Stranraer there, Higher Therm. You know, they've come on board. Now, they were big time sponsors of Cowton Racing, and still are big time sponsors of Cowton Racing, which is absolutely fantastic. But they're also supporting me on a personal level as well, because obviously, you know, we've both got to chuck our own money into going racing, which is obviously an expensive sport, so I can't thank them enough. But I think I've just kind of accidentally let the news slip there.
I was going to say that coming out of the Cowton Racing.
Like, obviously, I'm sporting the last year's hoodie, which is absolutely brilliant. But obviously, I've put it all over social media. We've put it on Chasing the Race and everything. But no, Fran Cowton, father of my lost friend James, he's picked up the phone and he wants to continue racing, and it just shows the strength of the character of the man. Now, we were down at the North Yorkshire Road Racing Club, like we have the awards dinner, and they won Mechanic of the Year award. Now, they don't just help me, they help out James Marley, they help out Mark Goodens, they help... Fran Cowton truly is a saint. He really is, him and Neil. And obviously with what Chloe's done, the whole family, racing meant the world to James,
Mhm.
and James didn't want that to stop. And to be honest with you, like when they originally offered me, I couldn't say no. And when we went, it was an emotional experience this year. It was huge, and
Mhm.
you know we learned a lot, and it was kind of the acceptance thing. And this might be a one-off.
Mhm.
Then went back to Oliver's Mount, and I think being that close back to James is obviously such a rare thing that a lot of families couldn't have, and
Yeah.
they've got that back now. Don't get me wrong, I haven't openly spoken to Fran about that, but you can tell from the outside looking in, you can just see just being back in the same world where he loved it. So does Fran, so does the whole family,
Mhm.
and you can tell he's just got a different attitude this time round. He's like, right, let's go back, let's do it a bit better, let's change the bike. They're going to change the bike. They're putting me on the new bike next year.
Oh, mint.
So
Mhm.
the
new twin, upgraded
the
twin.
new twin, so the
Fantastic.
MZ650, because obviously
Brilliant.
the bike that I was on last year wasn't a hell of a bike, you know,
Mhm.
but that was like their first crack at the ER6.
Mhm.
And like the bike hit its development, and you know yourself, you know, bikes and everything moves leaps and bounds forward, and like the Counting family want to go there and get results.
Mhm.
So I don't know why they've asked me, but no. So obviously Fran got back on the phone with Neil and Chloe and said, look, you know, do you want to have another crack at it, and we're going to do X, Y and Z. I'm not going to give everything away. I don't want to let the rabbit totally out the hat, but
obviously the TT and a few other things.
TT, Northwest, Oliver's Mounts,
Fantastic.
hopefully some Thunder Sports as well.
Oh, brilliant.
So
So that would be great for you with a bit of extra track time, because I know before the
Huge
TT
difference.
in the Northwest last year, one of the big sort of hindrances for yourself was the lack of track time. And, you know, it's difficult when you've had so much time off, and like, especially when a lot of the BSB lads are out in Spain testing and get the first few rounds of BSB, they're much more sharp. So if you can add in a few other things in, it doesn't matter what bike you're riding, it's just, you know, that bike fitness, getting sharp.
Well, it's
And,
also honing a skill set, because I've learned to race a bike on the road, like road racing, which isn't necessarily the best way of doing it, but sometimes it's all I've ever wanted to do is roads, and sometimes you think, well, that's a good thing, because I'm learning to push a bike every time I go on a road, which is, well, you know, in my opinion, it's bloody brilliant. But, you know, I need to go do more short circuits just to learn from the mistakes. To be honest, I could do with getting out with you, son. You know, just obviously you could come out and dish out some discipline and like show us how to go on.
What you're saying makes total sense in it. You know, to have a platform where you can have you know, the what's the word, like the chance to make mistakes, and like that luxury which you don't have on the roads, where you can't test the limits and just have like a little low side, just finding the limit because there's a wall there or a lamppost, where on the short circuits you can afford to take a few more risks to try and, you know, eke out those extra few tenths, with the comfort that if you do tuck the front, you know, the chances are you're not going to seriously hurt yourself.
Well, that's it. But I think, you know, personally on my side of things, it's always been because I've always, you know, funded my own race, and I've met some incredible people who have supported me, you know, throughout, you know, like building up to this point throughout the years. But it always comes down to budget, and I think, to be honest, what keeps me on my fear of crashing isn't hurting myself. Exhibit A, missing a finger. It's the financial aspect of it, and being able to unplug your brain from that is a huge advantage. And I need to do that, but in the same breath, you know, building bikes and the Counting team, who are, by the way, let me put this out there, you know, they are very much actively looking for sponsors. You know, it's a family-run team, and they're looking, you know, they're doing their own thing, but, you know, some support their way will be huge.
So, like last year, was it a P? We were 11th in the twin race.
No, 9th.
9th in the twin. Top 10, and then you're getting an upgraded bike. So, you know, look, it's looking positive for next year. You know,
totally.
Especially if you can get a bit of testing in beforehand. You know, you could be knocking on the doors of the top 6 at the TT.
Oh, I think a bit more, to be fair. Like, you looking shocked?
No, I'm not shocked. I'm just you usually you usually pull yourself down. So
no,
I'm liking the sound of that.
The thing, like, we went to the TT last year and we did half a day at Croft, because obviously the Croft circuit, you know, you can only go from 12 o'clock onwards. I had to start from the back, and we just went off. And then the next time I sat on the thing was down Bray Hill, and obviously the weather was crap. Couldn't get anything ironed in. So you think, well, immediately if we can get the bike dialed in, and if it's like a miniature superbike class. Honestly, if you want to get into developing a motorcycle, the super twin class is the proper way of doing it. You know, they're getting some rule changes like weight limits and everything, but really you can put billet cranks in, different valves, different this, different that. And like obviously, like we were discussing last time with the Norton, they can change what they want. You know, they can do what they want. The patterns have proven that they've built a race bike and then put it on the road. You know, the ER6s or now the Z650 Ninja is a commuter bike that you have to turn without changing too much into a race bike, and that's where it's difficult.
And over the past, I don't know how many years, a long stretch, it's really been Ryan Farquhar that sort of pushed that development and
and made his pockets bloody thicker.
Yeah, well, it just
from business
from the outside. Obviously, I'm not really that involved with the road racing side of things, but just from a spectator's point of view, every time the Northwest, the big sort of international meetings. Take out the patents. Is it patents?
Take
out the patents.
The patents.
It is the Farquhar bikes that of the Kawasaki's. It's the Farquhar bikes that tend to be.
He's always put a competitive package together. He always has. But thing is, everyone is starting to creep up on that now. You know, KTS, who Jamie Coward. You know what I mean? He was let like a second off beating Michael Dunlop on the factory pattern. You know what I mean? And that's essentially on a shopping trolley. Lee Johnson, he was on a Farquhar bike, but running under the Ashcourt Racing colours. You know, the field is tightening up. But let me put it in perspective. How much was the new Honda? We just told it. You'll hear it on the interview.
Yeah, 25.
25 grand, right?
That's for a new Honda ready to go.
Yep, that's all ready to go and racing, and you don't have to refresh them or anything like that. To build,
no, that's a road bike.
A road bike, sorry. Well, I'm trying to think. Right, in comparison, you're looking at 30 grand, really. Yeah. You know what I mean?
To build a
race,
1,000,
to build a good 1,000,
like super stock,
super stock 1,000. So really, to build a competitive, a pattern, to buy one from Pattern is 60 grand.
Wow.
That's to buy a bike.
And it's a much smaller class, isn't it? The twins rather than...
But the mad thing is, right, every good race, like every close finish, proper nail-biting race, has come from the Super Twin race. This year, Road Racing News most voted for best race was the Ulster Grand Prix Super Twin race. The year before that was James Counton's Northwest 200 Super Twin race.
I know we've talked about loads of times, but that as a finish was
that's it. But Super Twin racing gets away from almost the big money men, but then it's a bit counteractive. You need a 60 grand bike to be at the front. But then even to build your own Super Twin, you need 40 to 50 grand.
Wow, I didn't realise it was that
it's
much.
That much, but everything's borderline bespoke, and carbon fibre airboxes and carbon. It's all about vortex in them and like different conrods, pistons. It's just sky's the limit. It's proper engineering and racing.
When we're speaking on the topic of like sort of money in the sport, obviously you mentioned that you were at the Northeast AGM meeting and you've got your
bit of paper.
You've got some
scribbled all over.
You've got some accounts to look at, and I think you were
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to actually put this out.
When I first spoke to you afterwards, I remember you being like shocked at a few things that were mentioned that day. Do you want to sort of elaborate on?
Well, obviously, we talk about entry fees and everything like now. Croft is a dear because of the noise complaints and obviously the insurances and everything. Everything's on the rise massively. But let me just for the weekend, right? A weekend's club racing, Saturday and half a Sunday, for the Northeast Club to rent it out. Guess how much?
I know how much because you told us, but I am amazed.
Well, no, how much was your guess originally? It was.
I thought about for a weekend. I thought about 12,000 quid.
12,000 quid, right? Try 30,240 quid.
Is that a Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
No,
just Saturday, Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday. So same weekend, medical fees 4,428.
And you think the medical fees would be included in that, wouldn't you? Circuit fees.
Honestly, it's phenomenal. So in the ACU rider insurance, when you think insurance going up and everything, it's compared to that, is only 2,680. So these are the expenditures for the club.
So even before you've turned a wheel, there's like what's before that? You turned a wheel on for 40 grand.
But that's it. So really, the costs of the meeting now, when you put even like trophies, like obviously we go pat and you think, oh, what a shitty little trophy, but that still costs 1,033 quid.
A weekend.
That's it. Now, the best thing is everyone whinges about timing and stuff. Now, what they're going to introduce into the North East Club, which I think is brilliant, is a rolling grid system. Now, with you at the BSB, you have to you go off your best lap time, don't you? Now, you have the best in the business at BSB as far as timing officials and everything who calculate that down to it absolutely inch perfect. Now, no disrespect to the North East Club of Croft. You can only go as far as your money will reach you. Now, because obviously they don't put a rolling grid in. Once you're qualified, that's it for the weekend. Tough. You know what I mean? So, like, for example, when I went on that Sunday on the Croft for testing, I had to start from the back every race. Even if, like, I won both races, I had to start from the back. So, obviously, even on a budget, it'll cost 2,600 quid for timing officials and the services. You know, the lap timing system.
So there's so many costs that are behind the scenes that people don't consider, and if you feel like you're getting a bit stung when you turn up and it's like like $350 for a week for an entry fee or something, but the costs that then get pushed onto the club are phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. I'm trying to think. The overall, right? They lost. Now they ran 3 meetings. Like 2. Now, obviously, I'm trying to think. The main meeting at the North. Now, they went up to East Fortune, which is part of the Scottish ACU. So, let me just look for the figure. My God. Circuit fees, right, for East Fortune is 16,000 quid.
A lot less
Bear
than
in mind,
Croft, but
a lot less than Croft.
Still expensive.
But the Croft is our local round as a North East club. Now, overall, the whole year, they were negative numbers at 654 quid. And you think, for clubs to keep going, Derby Phoenix have packed in. Now, people like No Limits are taking over because they've got huge financial backing from obviously their initial business through the track days. But to keep a local club alive, we need to keep going. Now, for example, through Croft, now, so they have to sell 500 tickets before the club get any money. And even after that, only half the ticket money goes into the club after that. So get your asses down, you know what I mean, to the next Croft meeting with the North East Club. Obviously, check it out on social media, North East Club, and just please get yourself there because, like, what did they make? Income, right, from programme sales. They made 339 quid. Get your hands in your pockets, for God's sake. Because, like, in the gate money, right, bearing in mind after the 500, this ain't too bad. It's 1,700 quid. And you think, and people are trying to get round it. And you and me, everyone's sucker for a freebie, aren't they? Because you'll go, if I go down and get in for now, brilliant. But, you've got to think about the bigger picture, and it's obviously keeping club racing going. Because when did you start off in the North East Club? Where did you do your first club meeting?
From when I first started road racing, I started straight at Thunder Sports. I've actually only been in the North East meeting.
You posh wanker. Hold on,
the
the guest of honour.
I am, yes.
I'm hitting things off the table here. I'm properly kicking off.
So, but the point stands, like the state of club racing. It's easy for these clubs to, be losing money and going things
dissolve.
So, So if you can support the clubs, and hope it would be nice to see more numbers and
without a doubt,
and things to improve on that.
And obviously, what we've got in front of us here is obviously the UK Club Sport magazine that we highly rate. And the good thing is they keep a very close eye on the club scene. So, they are keeping it going. I honestly believe that because seeing your name on a bit of paper does mean something. We're sportsmen, after all, sportsmen and ladies. So it's we just want to see gain from what we're doing. And I think UK Club Sport are massively doing that.
Yeah, it's great, especially for the young. I think especially for the young lads coming through that are, at the moment they're in that place where the parents are paying a hell of a lot of money, and when you first start to get your picture in a magazine and like getting interviews and stuff, it's such a brilliant feeling. So yeah, great job that they're doing. And
before I go, obviously something that I regrettably haven't done enough of or reminded each other of is obviously the Marshal of the Pod thing, because obviously we're trying to get this built and blah, 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 blah. But the North East Club are running a Marshal training seminar. which would be very good. You know what I mean?
Do you know the details of it?
It's on the 15th of February at the Tynemouth Motorcycle Club.
Right.
Obviously, check out the
website,
the
social media.
Obviously the website, the North East Motorcycle Club website. Have a look at that and look for dates.
Fun. And going on to our next topic. So 2 weeks ago, you were down somewhere in the Midlands.
Tattershall.
Yeah, Tattershall. And racing the mini bikes. How did that go?
I tell you what, it was an eye opener. It was a total eye opener because I went down there thinking, Billy Big Balls, I'm in for this, like, you know what I mean? I turned up and I got my arse handed to us. Do you know, it is seriously competitive, man. Mm-hmm. It is so competitive.
So what bike were you using down there?
I was on a KTM 85. It's like super.
A little two-dinger.
Two-dinger, proper bike. And like, they've got different classes, like 160, 140s, miniature bikes. They've got like even sidecars, miniature sidecars.
And is that just on like a go-kart style track?
Yeah, totally. But honestly, it's like any passion, you know, it overtakes you. Mm-hmm. You know, like we've got like a lad called Dicko, who's an ex-Padgett rider. Mm-hmm. He's turning up on his bloody like Husky 105 overtune thing, man. He was telling me he's got nearly like 11 grand in this bike. Yeah. Thumb brakes and everything, like full on lit up dashes, and you're like, bloody hell. But the times are serious, like. And
I bet there's loads of lads there thinking like who maybe passed you and thought
top
10 TT.
No, not many of them, like, not many of them. But I tell you what, it was actually good to bump into one of my mates. Literally bump into one of my mates. David Sellers, he does the Ducati. Salty eye. He literally boomed us clean off the track, like first corner just went bang straight into us. Now Nathan, one of my really good mates, he's like 16 stone plus the fat. He's a big lad, like, and you wouldn't want to slap off him, and he was about to rip him in half. Like, it was funny as hell. He was proper kicking off. He was like, "Who's this bella?" And I'm like, "He's a Ducati Cup tri rider." Just one in neck in. Like, I don't care. I'm gonna slap his eyebrows clean off him. But he was proper kicking off. Absolutely class. But honestly, well worth going to watch one or even get involved if you've got any interest. Look at the British Mini Bike Championship or check out the BR8 Racing page. BR8 Racing with Nathan and Dove. They've got their own podcasts, and that's a good way of listening and finding out how to get into it and everything, which will be mint. Absolutely mint.
And going on to our last topic before we get our interview in, so a bit of 2020 speculation. So there's just been an announcement that OMG are going to be doing the Northwest, and was it the Northwest and the TT or just Northwest?
That literally happened today. What's today's date before we release this?
18.
The 18th. That's all happened today.
And also,
thank God, because it would have been now to talk about.
And also, when this podcast goes out, the news will already be announced. So we're speculating at the moment, but obviously when you listen to this podcast,
everyone loves a rumour mill.
The news will always be out. But my bet, I think they're announcing the first rider tomorrow. Obviously, it's been announced that Hillier's leaving Kawasaki after a long-standing relationship. So what
happened there? Because obviously it was quite... I don't know. I can't remember what shite we spread on social media now. But basically, like, Bournemouth were leaving the BSB, but they were sticking at the roads, weren't they?
That's what I thought initially.
But Bournemouth actually haven't pulled the plug,
right?
Have they? When you look at it, all, like, basically from the articles I've read, it isn't like Bournemouth is stepping down. I might have this wrong, but all they've done is confirmed Hillier's split.
Right, okay.
But then
I'm not sure, to be honest.
The good thing is, the mad thing is, when you look back and you see the detail after you know the fact, when you look at the TT interview, when you look at a couple of these interviews, they're already dropping hints before the split was happening.
Right.
Like, Hillier was very, very optimistic about returning back to the TT. At no point was he packing in. He's like, "Oh, well, before I leave, I want to, try a different manufacturer. I'd like to try this, and it'll be a shame to do this without doing that." And you're thinking,
He really had a good year this year with his Northwest 200 win.
He's had a phenomenal year.
And
he pissed off. He absolutely pissed off in that race.
And he's a solid podium man at the TT as well. So, yeah, my guess is that we're going to see Hillier on a BMW, and I'm pretty sure that it's looking
they're
like
not Suzuki's anymore, are they?
No. So
when
OMG,
did they go to BM? Is that just this year? They've gone to BM
next year. Yeah. So my guess is that Hillier is going to be riding the OMG BMW, and by the sounds of it, it looked like it was our first ride is going to be announced tomorrow. So that leaves another space, and I'm thinking that obviously
I'm looking at you here going.
We had Dave Johnson on the podcast not so long ago. He doesn't have a clear ride. I think he could be a great choice for the second seat, and obviously that would make sense with Billy McConnell being best mates, and Billy's riding in for the team, and
right.
there's a good link there. So my guess is that we're going to see Hillier and.
Both podium men. Well, why
Hillier
not?
and Davo on the OMG BMWs.
Well, obviously, with their British background, they're gonna be. They're gonna turn up the full show, aren't they? They really are, because also paddock set up and everything like that. It's gonna be a proper all singing, all dancing head start into the roads.
Also, I've heard a few whispers that Tyco have parted ways with the Taz BMW racing team. And the Tyco brand are going to be joining Paul Bird at Ducati. So we're looking to see the Tyco Ducati next year.
Blue.
I doubt that they'll keep the red colours, won't they, for the Ducati? But I'm not sure
you reckon?
I'm pretty sure that we're going to see Tyco
factory backed. Ducati, Paul Bird.
As factory as it's sort of this level gets, yeah.
All right, aye.
So. Yeah, so I think we're going to see the Tyco Ducati, and I mean we spoke about it before, but wouldn't it be great if that then develops onto the roads as well? And I would obviously they've already got Josh Brooks racing for them, who's obviously a massive title favourite for the British Superbike Championship, but he's
also the fastest Australian around the TT.
He also loves the TT, the Northwest 200. Wouldn't it be great to see Josh Brooks to do both? And maybe for John McGuinness to join him on the Ducati as well. Me personally, I would absolutely love to see McGuinness on the Tyco Ducati at the Isle of Man TT next year.
My God. No, there's just a lot of information to digest here, Chrissy. I'm not going to lie.
Watching this podcast go out and then it just be total
bullshit.
Rubbish.
Yeah, I know. You'll have to edit it tonight and crack on. But
that's at the moment anyway.
But see, like John again, if you're looking into it, he's very open about his conversation about, he's under contract with Norton, but he's looking for something else, and he keeps mentioning Ducati. But I think it would be very good. Like, I totally agree, because obviously Josh Brooks is a class act, and John McGuinness is a more than once proven winner. So no, that would be very, very good. Very good.
Obviously, for those that have listened to the last podcast, we had a bit of a laugh about a few things, and we had someone get in touch, a guy called Jacko2511 on Instagram, and he said his granddad died having sex at 86. The strange thing is, he lived at number 82.
Oh my God, man! Who are you getting these?
Terrible. Anyway,
speaking of terrible, let's have this terrible interview on.
So, without further ado, a great interview coming up with Alastair Fagan, top guy. If you're not sure who he is, head over to YouTube and stick in 44 Teeth, and there's so many videos to catch up on. Enjoy. So we're joined by Alastair Fagan, the YouTube journalist for the UK biggest bike-related motor media outlet, 44 Teeth. Alastair, how are you doing, son?
I'm very well, boys. How are you?
Good. Did I get that title right?
It wasn't far off, mate. I'll give you points for the effort anyway.
Well, where did we go wrong, though? Where did we go wrong?
I don't know. I think you slipped in YouTube and journalist in the same sentence. But anyway, look, we won't delve into these intricacies. But yeah.
Hold on. I've never spoken to you before. We're controlling this interview, son. So I want to know the difference between YouTuber and journalist. Come on. I can actually hear the anger almost grinding your teeth there.
Oh no,
we've hit a nerve.
It's a bit of a joke. There's obviously YouTube is becoming more and more popular, and it's booming. It's massive, and as a media outlet, it's becoming a pretty useful tool. I think you agree, and I'm obviously doing what I was doing at a magazine 10 years ago. I'm now doing what I'm doing in videos and making it all digital.
And as you just alluded to about the 10 years at Fast Bikes magazine, so what was your role there? Is it
road test editor?
Road test.
So
and that that was around the time that I actually met you in 2012 or 2013 when we were both doing the Triumph Triple Challenge.
Yeah, it was a good time. I mean, I had a lot of injuries in previous years, and I came back, and that was the first season I came back to proper racing. And yeah, it was a good little series, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, brilliant. And for obviously Tony Scott ran for the people like myself at that time in my career where I was kind of wanting to be at BSB, but I didn't have a big budget, for the sort of around the 16,000 quid a year mark. You could go and race, and you could be on TV, showcase your sponsors, and yeah, I thought it's a shame that we don't. I mean, obviously you've got the Ducati thing now, which again you've raced in, so we'll get on to speaking about it. But yeah, it was a great series. But go back to the sort of role that at Fast Bikes magazine. How did you leave college and just go straight into bike journalism, or what was the story behind that?
Oh mate, no way! I had no qualifications whatsoever. I was a pub landlord. I was a bin man. I packed cheese in a cheese factory. I pretty much did every single job you can imagine. And then
let's hear your best. Get out my pub.
Get out my pub, Pat.
Your best Phil Mitchell special. So how on earth did you get round to racing bikes and testing them?
Well, I mean, I started racing bikes, and I did motocross for years and years. Wasted years and years of motocross. So I was not really that good at it, and I kept crashing. And I was alright. We got up to sort of national schoolboy level, but I was never going to be any good because I just kept falling off the thing and smashing myself up. So we thought we'd go road race instead. And then
why is that the safer option? Everyone we have on this bloody podcast, man, guys. Yeah, motocross was a bit dangerous. We had a bit of soft mud to land on. I'll tell you what, we'll just start head planting the bloody tarmac at 180 mile an hour. Oh, aye, that's considerably safer.
Well, in motocross, you just stop, don't you? You go up in the air, and you just stop dead, and that's when all your injuries happen. And I'm not,
hold on. And the fact that they're going around in their fucking pajamas. You know what I mean? And you look at the PPE these lads are wearing, they're going around in bloody pajamas. Flappy, there's, what? A nice helmet and a nice thick pair of boots, and that's all they've got? Get some levers on them.
Mate. And the goggles.
Of course, eye protection. You got to love the red tape of the world. But anyway, you were saying you were shit on motocross. That's where
And then my sponsors down in Yeovil, Branson's, they had a Honda Hornet cut bike that was there that had been raced, and I swapped my CR125 for that and jumped on it straight away, and I won the Hornet Cup in my first year of road racing. I thought, this is pretty good. I'm enjoying this, and genuinely fell in love with the sport, and wondered why I wasted so many years on the mud, and kind of it just went from there. And then obviously being in the road racing paddock, I got to know a few people, and I got to know fast bikes. And there was a job going, and I kind of, someone said to me, "Oh, you should go for the job." And I went, "Hey, I'm not a journalist. I can't write my name, let alone, 1,000 words." And I went for it, and I got the job. So and here we are today.
And obviously that was before the time of sort of spell check, and everyone had iPhones. How on earth did you manage to I'm not very good at English, and I would feel very. I feel like I would be putting myself up to be mocked and laughed at if I was having this spell, because my spelling's atrocious. How on earth did you get by before everyone had iPhones?
Well, you're making me sound like a bit of an archaic old fool here, boys. I mean, I'm not that old. Back in the day. No, I mean, look, I was all right. I could write. I mean, it was learning how to kind of find the mix of entertainment and information and bonding it all together, because there's some really good journalists out there, some really good writers, and Fast Bikes magazine particularly, you got all those heroes, Shaky and Frosty and Sean Emmett, and they could ride, but they could write as well, and it was kind of finding a balance, really.
So hold on, before we leave the subject of Fast Bike magazine, do you know who got rid of the lovely little posters in the middle, when the gorgeous woman draped over the motorcycle. Because, the world of journalism or YouTube and whatever nerve we hit there before, they somehow forgot that sex sells. You know what I mean? I personally stopped buying that magazine. This is as true as I'm speaking to you now, mind. I stopped buying that the second I found out there was no nudes in it.
And you weren't alone, mate, because
there we are.
Honestly, the magazine sales just plummeted. And
Yes.
I'm not going to name names, but as soon as Morton's Media bought the magazine in 2014 or whatever it was, they immediately went right. Because it's run by quite
nuns.
Yeah, that's the one. It's run by some old boys, and it just they didn't see the good side of it. I don't know why, because many
how
people
just bought the magazine. How was it not a good thing? There was profits. It got the blood going, and it wanted to buy motorcycles. It was.
I don't know.
Oh, the world's
crazy.
got. Okay, you need to start getting this on your YouTube clips. You know what I mean? On your YouTube channel there, on 44 Teeth there, just get the odd strolling by roller skating with Miami. You know what I mean?
So obviously it was quite an interesting time in terms of journalism, where the paper press was kind of declining year by year, and you see them more, like you say, like the YouTube and like online websites, social media has been a massive thing. So at what point did you leave Fast Bikes and start doing your own thing?
It was 2000. It was pretty much 5 years ago. 5 years ago, 1 month and a few days to be precise. And I had a chat with Chris Baron von Grumble at the time, and we met up after doing a feature at Fast Bikes. And I kind of knew that it wasn't sustainable and that no one was buying magazines anymore. Really, it was quite the numbers were going down considerably, and I thought I want to be in control of my own destiny. And I love this job so much that I want to do it for a long time. So I thought, right, I'm going to start it by myself. And then I had a chat with Chris, and we formulated a plan. And thankfully, here we are 5 years later. So, thankfully, it's worked.
So you mentioned Chris, like Baron von Grumble, and I'm familiar with him on YouTube. I've never had the pleasure of meeting him in person, but he's got a hell of a following on YouTube, massive subscribers. He's got a huge catalogue of videos. At that point, was he already an established YouTuber, or does he not like being a YouTuber?
No, he's definitely a YouTuber. He was the biggest. He was the biggest UK-based motor vlogger or motorcycle YouTuber, whatever you want to call it. He was the biggest in the world for a bit, I think. So, yeah, he's got a big following, and obviously that kind of helped with my journalistic background and the knowledge and the sort of relationships I had in the industry. Mm-hmm. I had all that side, and Chris had all the digital side already set. So it was a match made in heaven, really. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for a lot of our older listeners, especially who are maybe not as familiar with sort of YouTube and these like vloggers, sort of video blogs, it's an unbelievable world, and especially for the sort of 16 to 25-year-old range, there's these like sort of YouTubers now, like aside from the Racin, like just famous YouTubers like KSI and Paul Logan. These people are
millionaires.
Are the
millionaires,
like massive, absolutely massive. The fart put it on YouTube and it gets like 100 million downloads. And these people are they are superstars. And like obviously recently, the KSI and Paul Logan, two of the biggest YouTubers, have just had a boxing match, and it was like selling out arenas. They've earned like millions and millions of dollars. It's crazy the sort of world. And obviously you and Chris have got the sort of motorcycle, and in this country you've got kind of that motorcycle, and how could we put it, that section of the market sort of covered with sort of vlogging and reviews on new bikes, and people who are interested in bikes and who like to spend time procrastinating on YouTube. Like you're the people to go to, really, aren't you, with the 44 Teeth brand?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said before, I'm doing exactly what I was doing in a magazine, but making videos. And as you said before, YouTube is massive. It is so big. And I think I saw a story out today. There was an 8-year-old who made £20 million last year in YouTube revenue alone. And of course, motorcycling hasn't got that sort of money in the industry. I don't think it ever will have.
Don't have to lie to us, son. We're not the Inland Revenue. If you're worth a few quid, you can tell us. Don't you worry about it. You know what I mean? We're not going to 40%. Don't worry.
I can tell you something now, boys. You're never going to be rich doing this. I earned more money when I was cheese.
Cheers for the show. Yep. See you later on. Cheers. We're off.
But I do it for the love. I do it. I still wake up in the morning and still love going to work, and that's why I do it. It's so much better than a real job. But people assume it's all champagne and hookers and caviar, and it's just not. It couldn't be further from the truth. I'm sat in a car park in Gatwick, pissing down with rain just after a flight, and there's a lot of travel involved. It's a hell of a lot of travel involved, and obviously I've got a small family, so I'm away from them a lot, and it's a lot of work running your own business and editing videos, running the social media, doing the website, riding the bikes, and editing it. Like I said, it's a massive amount of work. But as I said before, I'd rather do this than work for a company, for a big company. That's for sure.
And talking sort of numbers, I was just on your YouTube channel before, 179,000 subscribers. So basically, that every time you put anything on, it goes immediately to like nearly 180,000 people. And if you think of if you visualized, that amount of people, it's like if you think of Wembley Stadium full is 90,000, and you've got the 180,000 people at the click of your fingers. And then when you look at some of your YouTube video stats, and I was looking at your most popular video there, which has nearly got 800,000 views, and trying to picture that, I live in Newcastle. I think the whole city, so Newcastle and Gateshead, north and south of the Tyne, put them together, so the whole city, I think, less than 800,000 people, and it is phenomenal the amount of views that you're getting on and the following. So I mean, was it like an immediate, when you first started, was it an immediate audience, or is it something you've sort of worked on for a while, or what?
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's taken a long time to build up to this. It's taken us 5 years to build up to it, and I'm still, we've grafted solidly, and we put in a lot, close to 6 figures of our own money in the first couple of years just to set the business up. And I'm still surprised today, really. We're the fastest growing digital moto media out there, and that's coming from a small, tiny, independent company. Mm-hmm. And I'm still surprised. It shocks me. You've got all these big companies, all these big publications, and they do nothing with video and nothing with digital. And, a lot of it is the fact that they're run by old men, and a lot of they're run by people who are sort of skewed, and they've got their blinkers on and they don't want to look outside the print box or just writing a few words on a website. But I just still find it crazy that we're the only ones really pushing video. And of course, you've got a few others, but in terms of heavy hitters, I mean, I'm absolutely humbled to say that we're doing the biggest numbers. So it's all good. I mean, it's like I said, it's taken a lot of work, and when you sort of look, you start off with nothing. You start off with absolutely nothing. And obviously, Baron von Grumble's influence, we had a few subscribers then, and thankfully, again, my history in racing and the time I did at magazines, that helped as well. So you sort of, you build organically, and that's all we've done organically. That's all we've. There's been no advertising, no sort of boosting social media posts. It's all been organic. So a snowball effect, I think you call it.
Yeah, absolutely. You see, the mad thing for me is, right, I'm going to be very honest, because I wear my heart on my sleeve. The first time I've ever watched you was around about half an hour before this conversation, and that is the God honest truth, right?
What have you been doing?
What have I been doing? Now, I tell you what, the mad thing is, right, he was telling me about, right, we've got this young'un on. I'm like, wait, who the hell is he? And he goes, have you ever heard of 44 Teeth? Immediately, I've heard of 44 Teeth. I've seen the logo around every paddock, like everyone I've been into, and I've just never associated that with that. So it's hellish. Like, so obviously, I watched my first one. Now, my main question here is, which one am I speaking to? The one with hair or the one without?
I'm the fat bald one.
The fat bald one, fantastic. You've got
yeah.
more crack than the other guy anyway, so I'm glad you're on the show, mate. I'm really glad you're on the show. But no, like I say, like the gone honest truth of it is, like you say, the organic side of it is that I've just seen your logo around every paddock I've ever been to, BSB and like TT and Rhodes and everywhere. So it's bloody impressive, really. And like when Chrissy showed me this, I do feel like an idiot, a bigger one than I am now, because I'm thinking, well, how's it taken me this long to get involved?
And one of, sorry,
go on, mate. Go on. No, I was about to say, I hate to break it to you, Dom, but we have met before.
Do I owe you money? Yes. Oh God, how much do I owe you? Oh God, go on then. Right, how we met then?
We've met in the TT paddock. But anyway, that's just boring. Sorry, I interrupted your phone.
No. Wait, hold on. Wait. The good thing is, son, because I'm near the back, you must have been flying up at the front near somewhere. So I don't speak to the fast lads. I never speak to the fast lads. So anyway, hold on. Let's direct this conversation then. It's a case of like your TT then. When was your first TT?
Well, it was my first and only TT. It was 2016.
Right. Which classes did you go into?
Just lightweight.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, no, we have another journalist / you, like, what's his name? Adam Child. Did you beat him?
Chad, he didn't do it that year.
Ah, right. Next question then. Who's done the faster lap time then? Now, done more than mine.
I think it's me. I did.
Good lad.
I did 107. I did 107 mile an hour lap after like 6 laps of practice. So I was kind of happy with that.
Bloody yeah, because that's hellish on a twin. Because the only problem with the TT in the twin race is you don't get a lot of track time.
No.
So, obviously, that was a good class to go to for your first time. But what, if you don't mind me asking, why was it your first and only time then?
Well, it was just circumstance, really. I mean, I entered every year apart from this year. I'd entered to go back, and money, politics, sponsorship, and just kind of various different bits stopped me going back. And this year was the first time that I haven't gone back, and my lads now both race motocross, and it just hasn't worked out. And that was the single best thing I've ever done. They say that having kids and getting married is the single best thing you'll do, but it's just closely followed by, or it was close second to the TT, because that is without that the best thing I've ever done. Incredible.
That's amazing. So so if the circumstances prevail, would you be interested in doing it, in the future?
Yeah, I'd love to go back. I mean, really, excuse me. Like I said, it's just been, I had bike sorted, I had ride sorted, everything was there, but, I don't want to go too far into it, but yeah, it's one of those things. I haven't made it over there. I've had my ferries booked, and it's just one of those things. But I would like to go back. I'd like to go back to the classic. I'd love to ride an RS 250 around there or something. But yeah, that's the dreams. Ride an RS 250 or a TZ 250 around there would just be incredible.
Well, the amount of people that surely the amount of blackmail material that you must possess, you'll be able to get that sorted in a heartbeat.
You like to think so, but again, 2 weeks away is a long time to be away, and especially when when you're running your own business, it's not as easy as going, right, I can do this for 2 weeks and I can do that. It sounds easy, but it's far from it. And when you there's money to be had elsewhere, I've had to go and do something else. And last year we were supposed to go there, but again we had another project come up, we had another feature come up that actually made us money, so it was a bit of a no-brainer. But never say never, definitely.
So if any of our listeners out there have got a spare 252 stroke lying around the place, we've got a young'un here who's keen to get on it.
They are.
Young'un.
And speaking of riding, obviously you mentioned your TT thing, and like at the start of the conversation we were talking about the triumphs. What have you? What's your racing history since, like, in between those times? Like, obviously I know you've been I've seen you at BSB in the Ducati Tri-Options Cup. What else have you been up to?
Since the triumphs?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I did the season with the triumphs. I think. Do you remember that time, Chrissy, when I was faster than you in the last sector at Brands Hatch GP?
Oh, please tell me more. Please tell me more.
Do you remember that?
Funnily enough. I think that's probably one of the timesheets that I haven't kept.
I've got it framed at home, mate. No, but I did. I did. Straight after that, I did 3 years of Ducati Tri Options Cut, which was I love that series. Really loved it. It took me a while to figure out that bike because that is a bugger to figure out setup, and it's unlike anything you've ever ridden.
That the 848.
It was it was 848 first, and I did 3 years. Sorry, I did 3 years of 899s.
Right. Mm-hmm.
The monocoque.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, just quick, like obviously a quick blurb on the subject there. Why was it a nightmare to set up then, the Ducati? Like, what was particularly wrong with it to get right?
It was just a bit of a. It was unlike anything you've ever set up in before. You know, you make a change and go, well, on any other bike and any other sort of conventionally framed bike, you make that change and you go faster. But it works almost backwards. Everything had to be within a certain parameter, and you know, you could go round and round in a maze of setup changes and still not be comfortable on the bike. And you know, after probably 6 months or half a season, I've soon figured out that you know it's very difficult. Obviously, it's a monocoque chassis. I don't know if you boys have ridden the 899 or a Panigale, but it's unlike anything you've ever ridden. So it was it was a difficult first season. Then I figured out how to ride it, and we had some good results. I think I had the best result of 5th, but I'm just too fat. I was just too fat for a single mate class, as Chrissy knows.
And we were talking earlier about the cost of the Triumphs. It was like really affordable. You could do a season for maybe around about the £16,000 mark, but like say, give or take a bit of crash damage. Most people, I think, were around the sort of 20,000 for the season. What sort of cheddar for so like man on the street wants to go do the Ducatis? What would it cost for a year's racing?
His soul.
I don't know. I mean, it's probably realistically it's similar, but the bike is more expensive. Obviously, that's the big thing.
Right.
And you know, although you got a bit of help through Ducati with or the dealers with parts, putting Ducati parts next to Triumph parts is just you really got to sell your soul to pay for the crash damage. I think I wrote a bike off into high side coming out onto the wing straight at Silverstone and it hit the wall.
Shit.
And obviously there's no frame, so that's one thing left to fork out for. But it was a wreck. Everything. There was nothing left. Even the engine had to be refreshed because it was lying on its side for ages. So, I mean, I'd say a good 25 grand. But it's you've got the similar setup, so you've got the limited to a set number of tyres, and you only get a free practice and then a qualifying and 2 races. So, there's not a lot of track time, but you're in the safest area, safest sort of paddock, and as you know, the medical facilities are amazing. Mm-hmm. So it's a really good championship to be in. I think it's going back next year with the new V2. So I'd love to go back. I really would. But
is it looking likely?
I've had a few nice offers, but I don't know. I mean, my days of hunting for sponsorship are kind of numbered, and paying to go racing is another subject we could get into and spend all day debating. But paying to go racing, I'm just done with. I'm fortunate enough to be, a journalist that you could blag a few bits, and you could say, well, I've got a page here and a video there, and you can, blag a few free bits. But paying to go racing is just wrong in every sense, and when I've got, like I say, my 2 lads are racing motocross now, and they deserve my time. Not, it just became an expensive hobby. So those boys deserve my time, and I'd rather sort of give the money to them and give the time to them.
Well, I suppose one thing that you've got to offer that most bike racers haven't is obviously the fact that every single thing you put on YouTube gets like 100,000 people watching it. So like in terms of products and stuff, it's well worth companies giving you things to use and for your review and stuff. And going back onto the YouTube side of things, one of your big aspects of the whole 44 Teeth YouTube channel is this budget bike battle. Now, for those that haven't heard about the BBB, the budget bike battle, can you just explain like basically what it is and the like?
How do we get involved? I've never even heard of this, but I already like the sound of it. Right, go.
So, I mean, without boring you boys too much, I mean, new bike sales are on their arses. You know, not many people are buying new bikes, certainly new sports bikes anyway. So there's a big market in used bikes, used sports bikes, and apart from a few kind of retro magazines, no one's really taken it on themselves to bring more used content. And we had this idea. Obviously, there's two of us, and we thought we'd buy two old shitters and do them up, spend a bit of time in a workshop doing a few workshop videos, because everyone loves workshop videos, by the way. But yeah, so the original one was a GSXR 750 S-Rad and a ZX7R, two iconic bikes, and the aim was to get to Morocco. The aim was to get to Africa for 1,500 quid. We bought these two bikes for 1,500 quid, and it was like a Top Gear. Without being too Top Geary, we had this sort of vision of a few challenges on the way, and we went to Almeria. We went on track to Almeria, did some amazing roads, and then sadly my S-Rad pooed itself and prolapsed on the car park of a Spanish hotel.
So didn't quite make it to Africa. There you go.
We didn't. We literally could see the ferry. That's the frustrating thing. We could see the ferry, but again, little did we know how big this would explode. I mean, the budget bike battle is, I think it's the internet's finest series. It's gone crazy, and the support and the encouragement we get from viewers is amazing. I mean, it's really, when you look at it, it's taking two budget bikes, which a lot of people can relate to. They've either owned or they've had posters on their wall with these bikes, and it's just taking it back to sort of grassroots stuff. And rather than no one's got the money now. Very few people have got the money to go and buy 25 grand superbikes. It's the prices of, I think the new Fireblade's just been released. It's 25 grand for the SP, or 23,995 for the SP. So not everyone's got the money to buy these bikes,
and you can't go to Africa on it. So what's the point? There you are. What's the point? There you go. I tell you what, though, honestly, everyone who's listening to this now, there is such you will not be disappointed getting onto their YouTube channel. Chrissy, like I say, Chrissy showed me it, and I'm instantly hooked on it. The opening quote was you sitting next to John McGuinness, going, "You've got more chance shitting in the Queen's handbag," and I was just crying, laughing straight off the bat. So I'm thoroughly looking forward to watching this budget bike, and I can't wait. But like the moments you must have had throughout this whole process must be phenomenal, because Chrissy was just telling us that you've been like to the Colin Edwards boot camp. What was all that about then?
Yeah, Texas Tornado boot camp. I mean, that's I sound like a bit of a spoiled brat talking about all this stuff, but
it's great. Carry on.
It's I'm very humbled to be able to do this stuff. It's bucket list stuff. It really is. And Bridgestone UK, one of our sponsors, they also sponsor the Texas Tornado Bootcamp, and there was a space out there for us in October, and I won the Soggy Biscuit competition to get the space on that, and I got the invite and went out.
Can I just check? Sorry, can I just check? Is this? I'm familiar with the Soggy Biscuit thing. Is that what I think it is?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know what a Soggy Biscuit is,
mate? Mate. No, I don't. You tell us, Chrissy. You tell us. Go on.
Just Google it. Sorry,
Go Google it. Tell us, Chrissy, in your most seductive voice.
No, thanks.
Tell us both. Go on. He doesn't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Go on, Chrissy. Go on.
Continue what you're saying.
No. Tell us what it is.
I can't have the kids at school recording this, so let's move on. Just Google it.
You big tart. You're fast on the bike, but you're not fast off the lip, are you? There you go. God, Benny. Sorry, where were we? No. Yes, Colin Edwards. Is he a dick, or is that all right?
Oh, no, he's a legend.
That's good.
We spent 5 days with him, shooting guns, riding bikes, and eating beef and drinking beer. It was just perfect. It was, like I said, bucket list stuff. It's I've seen a few videos and a few clips of people shooting 50 cows and drifting around their place on little TTR 125s, but yeah, just an incredible experience. That is right up there with anything that I've done on two wheels in terms of enjoyment. And the only rule out there was that you couldn't drink any more than 3 beers and ride bikes and shoot guns. So it's kind of fair deal.
Absolutely class, man. So go on, right, quickly. I want your best moment ever since starting 44 Teeth and your worst moment. Don't think about it, just answer. Best moment.
Oh, my God. Best moment.
Go now.
Best moment is, I don't know.
Go. Off the first thing in your head. No wonder you beat him at Triumph Triple Challenge if he's this slow off the mark. Go on.
There's been so much. I can't pinpoint one thing. If I had to pinpoint one thing, it would be the Texas Tornado Boot Camp.
There we are. Brilliant. Now, your worst moment. Don't say this interview.
The worst thing would be getting caught speeding in Switzerland.
What happened? What happened?
Well, again, this is another budget bike battle thing. But we got pulled over by some Swiss police, and we got it handed to us. Chris, I mean, thankfully, I didn't actually get done for speeding, but obviously, being a business trip, we had to pay for it. But it was $5,000.
What?
$5,000 for doing 80 miles an hour in a 50.
Oh my giddy aunt!
Is that something to do with being foreign or what? Or what?
With the racing?
No, it was the fact that Swiss get so much right. They've got amazing chocolate, amazing roads. Well, they haven't got any racetracks, but that's another story. They got so much right, and yet they throw the book at you. If you get caught speeding, mate, you just pack in driving. We got so thankfully Chris got done for speeding, 80 and a 50, and immediately got pulled over. And because I overtook the car, my number plate was shielded from the camera. So if we both got done, it would have been $10,000, and 44 Teeth probably wouldn't have existed because we've both been bankrupt.
That is crazy.
But we had to get out of Switzerland immediately. So they escorted us out of Switzerland. We were banned for Switzerland for 6 months.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that was probably the worst bit. Yeah.
That's crazy. And obviously, when I sent you the message to ask you to come on as a guest on Chasin the Racing, you said you were a keen listener. What's been your favourite guest of the podcast that you've listened to that we've done? What's been your favourite guest we've had on?
I'd say Hickey.
Yeah, it was. That was we actually did that at Donington just before the showdown, and he's just like such a professional. It was more like him interviewing us, really. He's very he's really good with a microphone, and we'll probably have to get him on at some point.
And obviously, before we let you go, my final question is: do we get a hoodie each? I want a 44 Teeth hoodie.
Do we get a Chasin the Racing discount?
Don't say discount. We want one.
I'm privileged. I'm absolutely privileged to be on this podcast. So I will gladly send you, and it's Christmas as well, so I'll send you 2 in the post, boys. How's that?
Oh,
he's our favourite ever guest ever.
Brilliant.
Good man, you're my favourite.
I tell you what, just before we go, obviously there'll be people listening that maybe want to check out the 44 Teeth. What's all social media, website? What's all your? This is your bit to advertise. What your bit? Just go for it.
There's either 44teeth.com, nice and easy, as in the numbers 44 Teeth. And then just type in 44 Teeth to socials, and it'll pick up nice and easily. But yeah, it's the 44 Teeth of a sprocket. In case people are asking, that's the key to it.
Where did the name come from?
Well, rather than like a generic super bike, fast bike world, we came up with we're trying to sort of messing with bike parts, and the 44 Teeth logo kind of looks cool, and yeah, it just went from there, really. So.
Oh, legend. Well, really appreciate your time coming on the podcast, stopping in the airport at Gatwick, and we really do appreciate your time. So thanks so much, and have a great Christmas, and we'll catch up with you in the new year sometime.
Lovely. Thanks for having me. Cheers. Merry New Year.
I'm a size medium. Good man. Cheers.
Bye.
Satamone. So we're back, and great interview with Al. Obviously, you weren't familiar with him before the interview tonight, but cracking lad.
But honestly, when I first clicked onto his YouTube video, I was actually howling laughing. Like obviously that John McGuinness sketch about shitting in the Queen's handbag. It was just like, these lads are on our wavelength. You know what I mean? Don't take life too serious, and obviously enjoy the crack. And no, proper down to earth lad, lovely lad. So it's good to hear.
Champion. And obviously, have you got much on for this week?
Oh, just back to work, and obviously, I forgot to tell you before this. One of the lads at work's on the old Tinder there. Now, Chrissy, I've made it up to new heights, mind.
Go on.
New heights. Let me just scroll through the phone here. Build the suspense.
Just for those that aren't on our wavelength, Tinder is a dating app. So on the iPhone, on any phone. So basically, you can if you're in.
It's a dating website anyway.
Yeah, if you're in it works on location. So basically, if you go to in Newcastle, flip your phone up. Everyone that's on Tinder all the single people can see each other, and then you can message each other, meet up, all that type of stuff.
So anyway, one of the lads is on Tinder there.
I've heard.
You've heard. Oh, aye. Oh, one of the lads is on Tinder there. And you've made it, mine, Chrissy. When Julie here, 53, is wearing one of your Dom the Bomb hoodie. Dom your Bomb hats. How good is that? Like, my mate just went, yeah, Dom, you've pulled that, So anyway, Julie, 53, 41 kilometres away, is looking for love. Please hit her up, and she's got a lovely smile and obviously great taste in hats.
That's mint crack.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you've made it. I can't swear, I wouldn't say that. But hey, Julie, if you're listening, God love your pet. And if you do want a hat like Julie, please look at the TT Phone Cases website, where you can purchase you one for Christmas.
Spot on.
So, God love you, Julie. God love you.
Mint.
But
Well,
hold on. Before we totally go, I want to get one more dig in.
Go on.
Did you see the Guy Martin Great Escape thing?
I didn't actually get to see the full program. I've seen a few highlights and a trailer. Did you watch it? Did you?
Let me just get this straight, right? Brilliant program. Very factual about the Great Escape. Guy Martin. I'm a very big Guy Martin fan. But I tell you what, that jump was shite. And that was the whole base of the programme. Now, don't get me wrong, he did jump a brand new Triumph. Now, the way the programme was portrayed to me, it's like Gordon Ramsay on drugs. I flicked that on for a total different reason. I was hoping to see Gordon Ramsay doing line after line of cocaine. It really wasn't anything like that, right? So this jump, I was expecting to be on the old Triumph, right? I'm telling you, right? I was expecting.
Is that even a programme?
Well, Gordon Ramsay on drugs, yeah. On it, mate, it's mint. You should watch it, honestly. But the thing is, I think he lost his brother his brother overdosed. I think I'm gonna have to. Honestly, the program's well worth a watch, and it shows you how cocaine's made. Like cocaine, obviously, plant to crush it down, everything like that. They separate it with diesel, man. The chemicals separate with diesel, scrape it off, and then dry it out, and then it's made by a couple of lads wearing bin liners in the bloody jungle, and it sells for millions. We should forget this Chase the Racing podcast and getting the coke. High reward for high risk. It's right up our street, son. But anyway, this Guy Martin jump. The thing that upset me about it, right? The fence, obviously, they replicated it. They went to Germany, did the exact same thing, same location, blah blah blah. Great program, but the fence was fake.
What do you mean?
The fence was fake. It was made out of polystyrene. I'm not joking, honestly. So, you're thinking, mint. Now, if I was the director of Channel 4, there's no way in hell I would have told anyone about that.
That sounds to me like doing a tightrope with a catch underneath. The whole point of the danger aspect was if you don't make it, you land on a barbed wire fence.
But
it was made of polystyrene.
Made of polystyrene, leather. This wasn't in the outtakes. They openly talk about going, this is how safe it is.
Right.
Essentially
what
they're saying. That's it. I think everyone's watching this program. All he doing, and he just complained about a bad angle. I'm going, what? Come on. You know what I mean? It really ruined it for me. That you think, for God's sake, man, like it would have been like, imagine if he balls his, because back in the day they actually jumped barbed wire fences. Back when men were men trying to escape Nazi war camps. You know what I mean? On British-made bikes, even though they're in the heart of Germany. But hey, let's not talk about details, young'un. There you are, Steve McQueen. God love you. God rest you.
Well, this'll be our last podcast before Christmas. So obviously we've got our tinsel up, we've got our little Grinch up the top there, if you can see.
That's me.
And yeah. So, but one thing before we go, I just want to say a huge thanks to everyone that's downloading the podcast and spreading the word. We're on the way to a record-breaking month. We're on nearly 8,000 downloads already, and we've obviously got another 10 days or something.
Yeah, I haven't done any
10,
Christmas
11,
shopping.
12 days.
No.
So really, really appreciate that, and I'm hoping that we're going to smash the 10,000 downloads this month, and we just really appreciate all the support. Our next podcast will be at the beginning of January, and that's when we'll start our weight thing. So we'll get weighed.
Oh, how weighed, man? I want to get weighed now. I've been training.
We'll get training and put the weight on.
Put the weight on.
So we'll get weighed beginning of January, end of January, and I'm going to put a poll up on the Twitter, and we can get a charity to support. So 100 quid goes to the loser. Sorry, the loser has to. The loser has to pay 100 quid. Fine to the charity of the
mate. I've got this.
The choice of the Twitter. So we'll get that sorted. And other than that, I hope that you have a great Christmas, and I hope that all of our listeners and our patrons and followers and everything.
And before we go, obviously I've got a lovely Christmas card from our long time listener Eileen Davies, and she's not been very well, bless her. Obviously, I have a bit like really bad illness there. So glad that she's all getting better, which is awesome, and thank you so much for the card, love. It's an elf holding a bottle of vodka and gin, so she obviously listens to the podcast. So God love you, and get well soon, dear.
Brilliant. And big thanks to our sponsor, so Incontango Training. We haven't got a jingle this time, so we'll have to come up with something special for the next one.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Thanks so much to everyone. If we've just also hit 200 reviews on iTunes, which is a nice little marker, and we really appreciate all the people that are leaving positive reviews, especially the written ones. Fantastic. And we'll catch up in the new year, where we'll have I think it was the 19th of January was our first podcast, so we're almost at that 1 year marker. Can you believe it? And
how are people still listening?
So thanks so much. Have a great Christmas, mate, and we'll catch up
soon.
soon. Take care.
Shimona.